Today, let's talk all about color. How it can make a huge impact on your online course, both in the students you attract and the results you get when you're trying to sell your online course. So let's jump in.
Welcome to the Course Creators HQ podcast, helping you navigate the latest techniques for creating and marketing online courses. And now, here is your host, Julie Hood.
So today's episode is sponsored by Course Profits Accelerator, my 7-month program to help you sell more of your online courses. And not only will you get 3 of my favorite courses to help you sell your course, I'm throwing in my sales pages course, my email marketing course, and my joint venture course, but every month you'll also get a new workshop from me, plus a Q&A session and a study hall session. So there's so much in this program. I'm so excited about it, and there's an incredible set of bonuses. If you sign up before December 6th, 2021, you'll get the founding members price. So be sure to check out the link in the show notes at coursecreatorshq.com/71. And I should also mention that the special Black Friday Cyber Week pricing is only until December 6th, because it'll never be this good again. You guys know how I do this. The very first time I offer something, I give you the best possible price so you'll jump in right away. So you can do the same thing. And also, if you don't have a course yet, maybe you're listening and you're like, hey, that's great, Julie, but I have not created my course yet. Don't worry, there's a special offer just for you too. You can get both the 24-hour course creator program and the Course Profits Accelerator for one really low price. So if you go to the same page and scroll down to a button, it says, but I don't have a course yet, and that's where you can get that offer. So if you have any questions about the program, feel free to email me or message me on Facebook or Instagram. I really would love to have you join us, and please don't wait, because I'm limiting the seats to make sure that I can give everyone the attention that they deserve. So now on to the rest of the show. Let's talk all about color. So first, let me start with a story. Back when I was a college student, I worked in one of the research offices, and I remember helping one of the graduate students with upgrading his computer. And when I logged onto his screen, I almost couldn't even work on his computer. And can you guess why? His computer screen was the brightest shade of neon lime green you have ever seen against white text. So neon lime green and white text on top of it. And I'll tell you, it hurt my eyes to even glance at the screen. But the thing was, he loved it. He looked at it all day long with no problems. And I was kind of baffled by that because it was so uncomfortable for me to look at. But it was the first time that it occurred to me just really how much power color can have over the interaction you have, especially on the computer and on the internet. So one of your first decisions as a course creator is to think about what kind of image you want your colors to give off and share with your audience. So when I thought about doing this episode, I realized, talking about colors on a podcast is going to be a little tough because you can't see the colors as I'm talking about them. So you'll definitely want to go check out the links in the show notes, coursecreatorshq.com/71, so you can see some of the color resources that I've gathered for you. It will make this a whole lot clearer when you can look at the infographics and the tools that we've pulled together. Okay, so first let me start by giving you some words, and you tell me what color you think represents each word. So optimism, friendly, excitement, creative, trust, peaceful, and balance. Optimism, friendly, excitement, creative, trust, peaceful, and balance. So there are certain colors that represent each one of those words typically. And I'll give you a cheat sheet. If you go to the color emotion guide in the show notes, you can see all the answers, but let's talk about a few of them. So first off, optimism. The color for optimism is listed as yellow. So you can think like warm and cuddly and sunshine. And so one of the best brands for this is the yellow arches of McDonald's. You know, they're always promoting their warm and fuzzy family meals at McDonald's. Okay, and then for excitement, you might have gotten this one. You can think of the color red. So bold brands like Coca-Cola and Target, all those exciting kind of color images that you get when you think of red. And then for peaceful, which is also similar to growth and health, is think about the Whole Foods green logo. So when I'm working with some students who are trying to do health or creating peace in someone's life, peacefulness, green is a really good color to consider using. And then on the other hand, blue is typically for trust, dependability, strength. So you can think of lots of financial companies like JP Morgan and all the computer companies. They use blue to imply that trust level with you as the audience. So take a look at that color emotion guide. And then also there's a psychology of color infographic. Both of those will give you a lot more details about the colors and what they typically represent. And so as you're going through to pick out what colors you want to use, remember, don't just use the colors that you love. Use the colors that your students will love, because the ones you're most excited about may not represent your course perfectly. So you want your colors that really represent the result or the transformation that you're promising. So like my health students who are putting together healthcare courses, you know, we might really lean into the green and the soothing, peaceful harmony of green for them. So think about this and spend a little time thinking about what colors are perfect for your audience. So I've had a couple different clients over the last few years who just loved to use lots and lots of colors, and they felt like it really represented them and their personality. But the problem was it didn't really represent their brand very well, because too many different colors can either look a little bit childish, like think of a preschool with all the bright colors, or even a little bit unprofessional. So depending on what you're doing, you kind of have to be careful with using lots and lots of colors. So I want you to pick one or two main colors that are going to represent your brand and the emotional response that you're looking for. And then we want to go look for a contrasting color that will stand out for accents and buttons. And the goal is that you want this contrasting color to really stand out on your web pages. So typically this could be orange, red, yellow. Those are the colors that tend to stand out. And the reason is you want those buttons to just jump out at people so that as they're scanning through the page, they realize, ooh, this is a button. This is something I'm supposed to click on. This is that call to action that I'm supposed to make. So a lot of graphic designers actually will design pages where everything all blends together and nothing stands out. And it looks really pretty. But the problem is you want people to take action and do certain things. You want them to click on your links, click on your buttons. So you need those things to stand out on the page. Now, I also want to give you a really quick tutorial on how colors are actually represented on the internet. And this is a little bit technical, but once you know this, it's so helpful as you're working in different programs to try to make sure your colors match. If, let's say, you're doing something in PowerPoint and then you go over to Canva and then you're working on a website design tool and you want the same blue color across all of those, you need to use a very specific way to represent the colors on the internet. So there's two main ways that this is done. The first one is with a 6-character hex code. So for the hex code for kind of a red-orange color is FF5733. So it's a 6-character hex code that represents red-orange. Or sometimes some of the tools will put them in what they call RGB mode, which stands for red, green, blue mode. And the way that's represented is with 3 different numbers between 0 and 255. So the RGB codes for our red, orange color are 255, 87, and 51. So if you had to put those into some kind of color picker, you'd put in those specific numbers, the 255, the 87, and the 51. It helps make sure that you're using the same colors online on the internet. Now, there's some other color named ways to do colors, especially offline, like paint colors and stuff. That's different. This is strictly for representing your colors online on a website in a online tool. So once you pick those final colors that you want to use, you'll want to go out and find both the hex code and the RGB numbers so you can use your exact colors when you're in the different tools that you're working with. And then my last suggestion is to go visit a site called coolers.co to look for compatible color schemes. And what I really love about this site is it lets you put in a couple colors, maybe your main 2 colors that you want to work with, and then you hit the button and it gives you compatible combinations. So you can just keep clicking and see what kinds of combinations it comes up with for you until you find one that you really, really like. And it's fun to just kind of play with and see what sort of color schemes it comes up with to see how you could pull yours together. So the last thing then that I want to say is remember that while color choices are very individual, remember my lime green graduate student, there are some standard emotions and messaging that you get with certain colors. So if this all feels like kind of Greek to you and you like, oh, I don't really see this, I don't get what you're talking about, don't worry about this. I've found out that there are some people who this just is not natural to them. It doesn't seem obvious. And so if that's you, if you're having a little trouble seeing this, don't worry about it. Just either put a little more study time into it or maybe get some help from a graphic designer. It's kind of one of those either you get it or you don't kind of things. So if you don't worry about it. There are lots of folks who this is very unclear and the color concepts don't really make sense. So don't worry about that. Okay, so to recap, number 1, colors create really strong emotional reactions and even subconscious sort of reactions in our brains, depending on what color we see. Number 2, you want your color choices to match the result that you're promising for your course, not the personal color favorites of yours. You want it to match the result promised by your course. Number 3, visit the links in the show notes to see more about the different attributes of every color. There's a lot more here. I just barely scratched the surface on the different colors and wanted to kind of dip your toe in the water of how color could be used to improve your course sales. So there's a lot more if you want to check out the links that I've put in the show notes. And then 4, create a color palette with at least 2 main colors and an accent color. Start with that and use that accent color for your calls to action and your buttons. And by keeping it simple with not a lot of different colors, you'll look even more professional as you're pulling together your materials and pulling together your course. And actually, one of the very first templates that we're going to talk about in Course Profits Accelerator is your branding guide, which is not only just your colors, but fonts and all the other things that you are pulling together to represent your brand. And when you put that all together in one document, it helps so much to keep everything consistent and keep your brand looking consistent as people come across you. And so it'll help with all of those details for you. So I hope you can check out Course Profits Accelerator and jump in to join us for now through June 30th of 2022. So it's an incredible amount of work time to connect with me and get going on your course. So check it out because the pricing deal is going to end this week. CourseCreatorsHQ.com/71 for all the color links and the Course Profits Accelerator link. So thanks so much for listening. Thank you for subscribing and following and recommending us in your Facebook groups. Whenever you hear someone talking about maybe wanting to do an online course, if you can point them towards this podcast, I'd really, really appreciate it. We're always wanting to help more and more course creators get their courses out there, and we couldn't do it without your help and your support. So thanks so much for listening. Have a fantastic week, and we will catch you on the next episode. I hope you have fun playing with color this week. Take care.